Hey, how are you?
I am not too bad. How are the pair of you? It's morning where you are, so hope you slept well. Let me
Yes,
just make
30? Yeah.
it's 12:30.
Oh,
there we go.
12:30.
Yeah.
12:30. Well, it's half past 5 in the afternoon. I'm looking outside. It's pouring down with rain, and the sky's all grey. So you know.
We actually have sun. We have a rare
Oh,
glimpse of the sun.
you tease, you tease.
We've had plenty of
Yeah.
fog
It's
and
been plenty gray.
cloudy
Don't worry.
here on the east coast of Massachusetts, believe me.
So
We
it's
deserve
nice,
a little.
nice to have a little bit of sunny weather.
Yeah.
So, well, I have watched Red River Road. Firstly, thank you very much for making it. It's I always like to say I get the easy bit. I get to sit down for an hour and a half and just watch all the hard work that everybody else does putting films together.
Well, that's why we do it, so somebody will watch it and hopefully enjoy it.
And we get to do it. It's fun.
So there was a time last year when film productions started to wind down, and then everybody, people. I think the phrases that everybody used to end a sentence with was "take care, stay safe." And I think we all got a bit fed up of using that. I want to get back to the "yours sincerely." Kind regards, have a great day, but it was all "stay safe, take care." And then
Exactly.
with regards to films, a few people started to go, "Oh, you know what's going to happen? We're going to get lots of films about a pandemic. We're going to get lots of lockdown films. Oh no, it's coming." And a lot of people were a bit concerned. I think some people were going, they're all going to be the same. They're not going to be clever. They're all just going to be like shot on iPhones and stuff. But my God, Red River Road, what a clever film. I am anybody who moans about, oh, we're going to get lockdown films, watch Red River Road, because it is so damn clever in every regard, I might add, and we'll cover some of those during this conversation. But
Great.
it's a masterpiece, guys. You've done a really clever thing, not just on screen, but looking into how you made the film, insanely clever that way as well. So when did the idea first come to go, right, we're gonna do it? And what was the time period in putting the thing together?
So we actually have another film that was cast. It was funded. It was ready to go. We were supposed to shoot September of last year here on Cape Cod. And when the pandemic broke out in February, I immediately was like, oh, this is going to throw a wrench in the works. And it only took a couple weeks before I realized there's no way we're going to be able to shoot realistically. And we even did a version of the budget where we accounted for, at the time, was sort of like, well, maybe these will be the guidelines. And it just pushed the budget. It basically doubled it. So we pulled the plug. We had to pull the plug on it. And I had a day of mourning over that, feeling sorry for myself. And I was like, I got to do something. I mean, we're going to be trapped in this house. We literally have everything we need to shoot a movie. Could we? I mean, we're all actors. Like, could we do this? And that night I literally woke up from a sound sleep, and the movie, pretty much as you see it, was just playing in my head. So I grabbed a notebook and, just freehand tried to write down everything, as it sort of was coming to me. And then told the family the next day, hey, we're going to do this since we're all here. And they're like, okay, great. It took me about 10 days to write it out. And then we shot almost immediately, rehearsed a little bit, and then kind of got it all, just prepped it enough so that we could just hit the ground running.
How many days did we shoot?
We shot 10 initially, and then we, knowing that we were going to have to go back and get some more. So I think all in all, it was
Like 14 days.
14, 15 days. Yeah.
Because I think it's obviously it's all your family that are predominantly. You've got one other guy in the film, but predominantly it's you and your two children that are in it. And I think if you were to tell people, go, oh, all our family have shot a film, some people might go, yeah, it's like getting all your friends together going, let's go make a movie. But you're all 100% convincing actors. You are all, it doesn't look like a family have just thought, you know what, we can't really leave the house. We've got all the equipment here, let's make a film. It looks like, and I'm trying to not phrase it so it sounds exactly bad. I don't mean it to sound bad, but it doesn't look like you've just thought, hey, come on, let's make a movie. It looks like a very well thought out, which I'm sure it was, a very well planned, which I know for a fact it was, and a very professional movie that you've put together. It looks amazing. You have got some dream sequence type scenes in there. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because people are going to watch this film. They haven't had the privilege of watching it yet, like I have. Is that sort of holiday footage and footage you already had? Go, hey, we could use this.
So that was actually not in the original script. I was editing a scene. That's the one where we're in bed and we're talking about, are things ever going to be normal? And she mentions that Shaw, our son, Sean, the character in the movie, used to love playing football. And I was like, I have this football footage. Let me just like drop in a little clip as she's saying that.
And it was like,
and it didn't work there. Like it just interrupted the flow of the scene. But I was like, I think I'm onto something here. And then it was like, I have our whole lives, on this computer. And I just started playing around with this idea of this fractured reality, sort of all these bits and pieces that aren't really explained, but I think they kind of just make sense just because, it really happened and it is us. So it really added this flavor, and everyone who's seen it, that's one of the things they comment on is the dream sequences. So occasionally in film, you get one of those happy accidents that you just are able to lean on. And that was one of them.
And I've just added myself to the list of people that have brought it up when they're talking about your film. So it's you've definitely struck gold there.
It was, to be honest, it was a risk. It was like, are people gonna just think this is weird? Or so the fact that people were, it's great when you take a risk and it pays off.
Because this film is set during a pandemic, but it's not set during the pandemic that we're in now. So, because it's a different pandemic, people think, oh, there's only one pandemic. Well, no, there's different types, and fictional movies can deal with a pandemic too. So, can you explain what your pandemic is within Red River Road? Because I think that threw me for a couple of minutes, going, oh yeah, it's not. Because whenever we hear lockdown, isolation, pandemic, we instantly go, oh, it's the COVID one, but it's not. This isn't a COVID movie. It was filmed during the COVID pandemic because we're still in it, but it's a little bit different. So can you explain what that is?
I think honestly, I had sort of burbling in my subconscious this other pandemic that's going on as well as COVID, and it's this social media and the way it skews people's thinking and isolates them. And when people retreat into their echo chamber, bad things can happen. So it was sort of this fictionalized version of what if there was some sort of virus that spread electronically through the internet that would disrupt or alter your perception of reality in a dangerous way. So I think it was really an exploration of that, because I think ultimately we're going to get past COVID easier than we're going to get past sort of where we're at with wrestling with our responsibility around social media.
Yeah. Because I spend a lot of time on Twitter. That's pretty much where I live. And I'm fine if I look at the timelines of my friends and those that follow me and vice versa. But once you go down the wormhole of hashtags, or you do see the very different sides of it. And you can see, as you've said, it will take a long time for people to change the behavior of that than it will to be able to go outside and, hug strangers or whatever they wish to do when things get back to a semi-normal existence. But
I think also social media is it doesn't feel like it's something dangerous. It starts off as sort of this pleasurable experience of, I'm connecting with people, and I have these opinions and other people have similar opinions, and we really get to discuss and dive in on them. Before you know it, you're just kind of lost in a way of thinking that maybe you didn't entirely choose. I've caught myself sometimes thinking things and then going, wait, is this really how I feel about it? Or have I just been exposed to sort of this pathway for so long? So yeah, like the characters in the movie, I think it's good to question, like, is this real?
Yeah. Because the film,
and also the responsibility.
On,
I was going to say also the responsibility of what reality do I want to create for myself? What reality is she creating just to survive? Maybe, what reality does she create in the end to just wake up every morning?
There's definitely a thought-provoking film, because even though the film is set in a fictional pandemic, there are, of course, so many parallels to the pandemic that we're all living through. There is a wonderful line in it where, and I can't remember which character it is, but they say, what date is it? and several of the characters like, I don't know what date it is. And then I was thinking that, and I'm thinking, well, without checking my computer or my phone or putting on my digital television or whatever, I wouldn't have a clue what date it is. So it's we become so reliant on technology. And I remember what it was like before the internet. Maybe not computers, but people who are younger than me have never known a world before all this technology. So how they would cope without having it, we obviously we see within your film.
Yeah.
But so the filming of itself is wonderful to look into. Strings and pulleys, is that correct? I did some reading that it's insanely. I'm really hoping that you guys have documented the making of the film as well, because that is also something that I would love to watch. How you've all made such a film.
We didn't have time to document the
No,
film.
that makes me sad. No, I want to watch it all.
We just have, some of the photos in the EPK that, just show what our house looked like while we were shooting. But as far as shooting footage of what we were shooting, we didn't have another hand.
Yeah. Yeah. All the cameras were spoken for.
Yeah. Well, all the cameras were spoken for. All the hands were either acting or already moving the cameras. So, we did some pulleys, and we did some, one person pushing down the dolly across to someone else pulling it. It was just interesting. It was fun.
Yeah.
We had to get creative, and when you get creative, you do get a little bit of movie magic, I think.
Yeah.
And you have. It was, because I thought I'd just gonna have a look and see if I find any interviews you guys have done. And I did find one where you were talking about pulleys and dollies, and right, well, I'm in the shot, so you have the camera, and I'm off shot, so I'll do it. And the logistics of that must have been a lot of fun, but also it must have given you a little bit of a headache, I would have thought. What was the trickiest? Was there a trickiest shot to do without any spoilers, obviously?
I think the one that sticks out to me as being really cool is the dolly across while we're all watching. I think Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
So we're all in the shot, and I was like, this isn't gonna work. It's never, but it looks really good, I thought.
Yeah. And we literally, so it starts on me, and we just had the camera feed going to the TV that we're watching, so we can all see the shot. And Shaw, he starts pulling the camera on the dolly, and I'm just waiting until I disappear from the shot. And then I just stood up and continued. And he just sat down and started eating. So we just picked him up. We had to do it probably 10 times.
Yeah, but we got it.
Yeah, just to make sure it didn't bump or do anything weird. Or
I think lighting was difficult because with the limited space we had to use a lot of natural light, and so our days were cut short sometimes. So we'd have to try and find a way to light it, and that was difficult. We had a lot of light outside, and it would rain, so we have to not do that one. And then, so I think lighting was difficult.
Actually, this does remind me of something. So you would think it's during lockdown, it would be easy to just go out and shoot empty streets, and even the neighborhood. I don't know how many times we'd have something planned, and we go out there, and there'd be a lawn crew across the street, and there were times we had to wait for like people to not be around. So it was actually not as easy as I thought it was going to be to show this sort of empty world that they lived in. We did have to shoot around and get kind of creative with that.
Yeah, the noise, and we live near an airport, so all those technical snafus, but then you just work around them.
And there was actually a scene outside, and we shot on one day. We were going to pick it up a couple of days later, and our neighbor across the street, in the meantime, had somebody come in and tear up their lawn and lay down sod. They're like, it's not gonna match. Just like reshoot.
How dare they?
I know. But didn't they get the memo?
No, they probably they didn't check their phone. That's because they couldn't. They were being safe and not checking their devices. The level of detail in the film is amazing. And you mentioned the Seven Samurai Criterion DVD or Blu-ray. It was great to see that. And a lot of people have gone digital now, and you go, well, you can't go digital because you can't connect to the internet. So it's a lot of people may miss that. Go, why are they watching Seven Samurai? Oh yeah, because that's the DVDs that they've got. I am also in love with your media room, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh my god! And that's obviously your media room with your books and DVDs and blue. That is possibly That's now the inspiration for my own media room that I will make at some point. I would just live in that room. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be in that room. I had to fight for it a little bit. We owned a video store years back.
Same, yeah, I had one.
So when it closed, I was like, well, I'm keeping all these.
I think we sold off half of them and then we kept half of them.
Yeah.
When I sold mine off, it was on the crossover between DVD and VHS. So I literally threw out about 2,000 VHSs that I just couldn't sell anywhere.
Yeah.
But I took all the DVDs home. I'm having all of those, and kept them all. You've got to. But and obviously is there a name for the pandemic in your film other than pandemic? Did you guys name it?
No. I wanted it purposely vague. I wanted it more. I'm not big on expository dialogue, especially in movies like this. There tends to be a character who suddenly spells everything out, and I wanted the audience to sort of live from their point of view. Like, we're already in this world that's already established, and there's some breadcrumbs to sort of, bring the audience along. But I wanted the audience to live their life as much as we could.
And we did. We certainly did. But it's an absolute breath of fresh air to see effectively one of the first films set in a lockdown. I think I've seen maybe one other, Songbird or whatever, but that is so unique with its spin. It did remind me, and I'll explain why, of the first Purge movie. Not so much in the storyline, but obviously your film is set predominantly inside a house, and the first Purge movie is set inside a house. Beyond that, there's, they are different films. But I found that after watching Red River Road, I wanted to learn more about this pandemic and to see more films, so do sequels and spin-offs, please, to sort of widen it out like the Purge series did. So, the first Purge movie didn't explain too much. As you said, Red River Road doesn't fully go into explaining everything because we don't necessarily need it. We follow the characters and we learn the stuff as the film goes along. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I want to see more films. Certainly more films with you guys doing it, because it's absolutely genius. And I would like to watch the 2 short films that I saw mentioned. Where can they be watched if possible?
So Runner is on Amazon Prime, and I know it's available in the UK. I can dig up the link and email it to you.
Please do.
And then what's the other short?
The other one, I'd written it down here, Bomb.
Bomb. Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah.
That's on my Vimeo page.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, you got me all excited. I was just headed to Vimeo.
I'll double check.
I think it's on YouTube too. But
I'll look. I'll find the links for you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Actually, if you go to our website, whiteshark.com.
Oh yeah.
I think there's links to them there, but I'll send you the links. I'll save you the.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm fans of you guys. I'm fans of your whole acting troupe. I think you've all done well. And I think one question, why hasn't Brody got an IMDb page? Yeah, I think
I know he needs one.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing. How difficult, if it was difficult, was it to film with a wonderful pooch? Was it an easy thing, or was it trickier than the Seven Samurai dolly shot?
It was easier than we ever dreamed of. I've trained her. She's 11, so we've had her for a long time, and I love training her. She's so smart. I can teach her any trick that I can teach her to open the refrigerator, I swear. But she wants to work. She's happy to be with you. She's happy to do a job, and she never complained.
Yeah.
Not a diva then. That is good. There's nothing worse than a diva dog.
She got really used to getting treats like steadily throughout the day. So
yeah,
that hasn't worn off yet. She still follows us around like, do you need me to do anything? You got anything? You got a treat for me?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's hard for actors to shake off the character. So maybe this is her process. It will take a while for the treats thing to just wear off, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah.
She was only, I think in the original script, she was only in 2 scenes, but they were so easy that we just kept adding. Like, oh, what if we did this bit? Let's see if she'll do this, because it'd be cool to have this as a transition thing. And she just delivered every time.
So and Quinn and Shaw were amazing. So, thank you to them. I know they're not there at the minute, but it's I watched your film, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, because I work night shifts on my paying job, and it was kind of quiet. So my boss said, "Oh, does anybody want to finish at midnight?" I'm like, "Me, please, because I've got some films to watch." So yours was the first one that I sat and watched. So I'm sitting there in a pitch dark room on a nice big screen watching Red River Road, and it was I wasn't tired or anything. I loved it. It's
Great.
So what are the plans for the distribution of it, or is it still early stages for that
Still
at the
early.
moment?
Yeah. You know, Grimmfest was really the first, one of the first festivals we applied to and then got in immediately. So kind of like, oh, this is real now. We got to start moving. So
it's still really early in the film festival circuit too. I mean, we won't start hearing from some of them, you know, we've applied to a few. So yeah, it's early. I mean, we don't know. We wanted to get out there. That's our biggest thing. We want people to see it. So whatever avenue that takes, we'll choose that one.
And I think there's it's going to need to find its right home. Somebody out there will really embrace it and know what kind of movie it is. It's not, I wouldn't call it straight. It's not a straight genre picture. I think it sort of lives in the gray areas of a couple of different genres. So I'm sure somebody out there will really, you know, take care of it. And I think we're just waiting for that right moment to click.
But I'd definitely say that Grimmfest are a great choice for showcasing films. I've covered a lot of their stuff for the past few years. They like the fact that I tweet constantly and write for the website and do these sort of conversations and podcasts. And so I'm 100% films are in my blood. And their selection process for films is spot on. So it's not a case of, oh, well, we'll take all films, welcome here. Their selection process is, I don't know who does it. I do need to ask them at some point, going, who is the person that picks the films? And I'm going to buy them a drink, because all the films that they do take on board are gems, but they're all different gems. It's not a case of all the films are the same. They do cover predominantly horror films or dark films, but they're all so different that it's an absolute pleasure when they do a festival, be it their yearly festival, which is usually around sort of October-ish, or they're springing a nice extra one for Easter this year, where your film is screening. So it's exciting times for film fans and exciting times for you guys as well, because you know your film is going to be seen from people all over the world as it opens up to different festivals.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and they've been amazing.
Yeah,
it's
been great.
Nothing but a pleasure to be involved.
Well, I'm looking forward to catching up with the film's journey. I'm going to follow it. Once a film shows up on my radar, I do tend to keep my eye on it and just see where it goes. And like I say, I'm a mass tweeter, and I will be putting this conversation out on my YouTube channel. Grimmfest will be sharing it wherever they share it. I'm also going to be turning this into an audio podcast, because predominantly I do audio podcasts. So that will go out on iTunes and Spotify's and all that sort of stuff. So so you'll be everywhere. If you guys can do some contact information. So if people want to learn more about yourselves or Red River Road, where is the best place to track you down in a nice way?
Probably the website, whiteshark.com. And that's WYTSHARK.
Fantastic. Well, firstly, thank you to everybody. Not firstly, because I've been doing lots of firstlies. A little bit sleepy because I finished work at 7 o'clock this morning after 4 night shifts. So it's, but I'm doing okay. But thank you very much for taking the time out, not only to just make the film. Like I said, it's an absolute pleasure to sit and watch it, but to take some time out and have a conversation with myself. What's the plans for the rest of the day where you are?
We got quite a few interviews, and then I'm still racing to get the final tweaks on the score, which I'm composing with an old friend of mine. And we got to get that ready for.
And I'm racing for a deadline for my new screenplay.
Yeah.
Busy. So you guys, you're all definitely staying sane during this pandemic. So that is, it is nice to see and hear as well.
The only grousing, honestly, that we've done is we missed out on catching up on the house project. We didn't binge watch anything. We just skipped. So there's definitely a couple house projects that are I guess they're just never going to get done because we didn't get them done during COVID.
Yeah. if you're not going to get them done during a 12-month period where you can't leave your house, then I think you may have to get somebody else in to do those projects. I think
so too.
We'll just stay creative and somebody else can. Yeah.
do. And try and teach Brody how to do some dolly shots. Maybe that could be something
That
for a
would be
future
a
one.
good
That
one.
would make it easier for you guys.
She's part husky. She could be like a sled dog.
Yeah.
That could work. That could work. But no,
Yeah.
you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you
Thank you
once
very
again.
much.
You as well.
And good luck with the rest of all your creative projects as well.
Thank you. I
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Take
All
care.
right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.